Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, Kal Yafai, your main man, Kal Yafai, the guy that was the WBA super flyweight champion for a good amount of time. He was Britain's former longest reigning champion in boxing among active fighters until he lost to Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez in devastating fashion in his fight last month in Frisco, Texas. So, you know, he one thing I respect about Cal, as I've said already, is that he didn't make no excuses. He didn't make no excuses when he lost Chocolatito, but he was speaking to boxing scene, and he opened up a little bit about his career and what went wrong when he fought Chocolatito. Sound it out, BT. What went wrong? So I wanted to read you guys what he said, and we'll dissect from there. And this is Kal Yafai speaking. Kal Yafai said, I quote, "It's been very, very difficult. One of my fights, I was 10 to 11 pounds over 4 or 5 days out. But for this one, I wasn't even half that. You have a lot of people telling you that you look great, saying your weight is better than usual, and you tell yourself that you are feeling good, but inside you are dying. That's what you have to do all the time. I had to trick my brain into thinking that I'm fine." He then went on by saying, it just wasn't meant to be on that night. He was great on that night, and I wasn't. I could say a few things that weren't right, but it will just sound like an excuse. No one is interested in excuses, and it won't change anything for me now. I know what went wrong. I know what I need to do, but I give him all the credit. He is a great person, not just in the ring, but outside it too. I tried to box him early on to make him use his legs, but it was me who ended up using my legs. The thing I was always thinking was that it's still there. I'm going to get him. I'm going to catch him clean. When I was down on the canvas at the end of the day, I was miles behind and they wanted to pull me out, and I said no chance. And I never even saw the right hand that finished it. He then went on by saying, I quote, I will move up in weight, see how much weight I put on, and then move on from there. Going up is just something I have to do. I'll have a chat with my nutritionist. These are lessons learned, and I wouldn't change anything. I could fight again at the weight. I could do a rematch. I have the rematch clause. If I was good at the weight and I could hold my physical strength 100%, I would do the rematch. Maybe I could have implemented the game plan that would have worked. I'm not stupid. I know what I'm capable of, but I've got to move up. And those are the words from Kal Yafai, the former WBA super flyweight champion. Now, I have the utmost respect for Kal Yafai, and I've had a chance to get to know him on a very minor level over the last couple of months from my travels to the UK and from covering this fight. And what I can tell you guys about Kal Yafai is I believe what he's saying. I believe what he's saying because when I was in the UK and I saw Kal, he was walking around at like 135 pounds. He was a big guy. I was shocked to see how big he was in person, because he wasn't, there was no fight scheduled when I met him in Birmingham at his gym. There was no fight scheduled there at that particular time. He was just staying in the gym, staying sharp. So I was shocked by how big he was. But then when I saw him for the Gonzalez fight, for the Chocolatito fight in Texas, the weight cut, he looked so small. He looked like he was trained. I mean, his face was sunken in. I mean, just go pull up my interview with him from that week. His face was extremely sunken in. So I believe what Cal is saying, and I mean, if there's any truth to what he's saying, and he's not making this up, and I don't think he is making this up, to be 11 pounds overweight, over your fighting weight, 5 days, 4 days, basically during fight week, is very, very alarming, because then you're talking about having to lose that weight during the week. You're talking about having to do extra, just activities to lose the weight, starving yourself to death in the hotel room. It's a lot of stuff that Kal Yafai was probably going through going into that fight. Not to say that he would have won the fight if he was at the weight, because I'll be honest with you, I don't think he would have won. That's just my opinion. I think Roman Gonzalez is just a better fighter. But I think it's very telling when you have a rematch clause and you're not even thinking about exercising it. So I think that's the best thing for him, because first of all, if you're that weight drained, you're not gonna have a big chance to win in the first place, and then especially when you're fighting a guy and a fighter as good and as sharp and as motivated as Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez at this moment in time. So, how far could he move up? I'm not so sure. Cal, his walk around weight when I saw him in the UK, he was pushing about 135, 137. So he could probably fight at 122. 122, and who knows, man? Maybe he goes up in weight, and maybe he finds some extra strength that he didn't have in 115. Because even if you look at the 2 or 3 fights before the Chocolatito fight, the Israel Gonzalez fight, the Jimenez fight, just all these fights, the last 2 or 3 fights he had before he lost to Gonzalez, even in those fights he looked weight drained. In the Carmona fight he looked weight drained. His face looked sunken in every time he went out to the ring his last 3 or 4 fights at 115. So I think it's a good move for Kal. And I think not even just that, it's good that he's gonna move up. He's gonna move up in weight because I think it'll force him to fight differently. Because like his whole title reign, Kal Yafai would try to bully people using his size, and he was a weight bully at the weight class. So now that he's gonna go up and weight and fight guys close to his size and his weight, I think it'll force Kal to actually use his boxing skills, and he does have boxing skills. He won his world title displaying boxing skills when he beat Luis Concepcion. So, that's just what it is, man. I wish Kal nothing but the best. I'll be covering his career as I've covered it for years here on True School Sports. But I think him moving up is a good move, because a weight drained Kal Yafai does have a snowball's chance in hell of beating the top guys at 115. So move up. Maybe you find some new life at 118, 122, or however far you decide to move up. And that's just what it is. I know I'm gonna highlight this, and I'm gonna end the video. But like one excuse I know that he's not gonna make in the public, but that I think is a valid excuse, is that his trainer Max McCracken wasn't even in his corner for the fight. Not that would have changed too much, but psychologically I think that can affect the fighter when the trainer you spend every day in the gym with isn't in your corner for the biggest fight of your career, because of Max McCracken wasn't in his corner, to my knowledge, and I could be wrong, so if I'm wrong, somebody correct me, but his trainer wasn't in his corner because I think he had visa issues. That's what I was told by a couple of people. So if that's the case, you can't. That's not, no disrespect to Max McCracken, because he was very racist to me using the gym. But if you got a fighter like Kal Yafai in a big world title fight, you got to be there. You can't be missing the fight because of visa issues. And I don't know what the whole details of what that is, but I'm just saying that could be one of the things that he's alluding to. So when you factor in the weight, when you factor in his trainer not being in his corner for the biggest fight of his career, and fighting Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez, it's a recipe for disaster. And for Kal, I just hope whatever went wrong in camp, or whatever went wrong in the lead up to the fight, he can correct those things, move up in weight, and just get the best out of his career, because I do think he is a better fighter than he showed on the night. So that's just my humble opinion. You guys can leave yours down below in the comments. Take the time to subscribe, and like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys.